Welcome back to the reading of the Talmud Jmmanuel, Chapter 8. The calming of two possessed persons. Persons possessed by self-created delusional entities. 32. And he arrived at the other shore, in the region of the Gadarenes. There, two possessed persons possessed by self-created delusional entities, ran up to him. They came out of the tomb caves where they were cast out, and they were sometimes very dangerous. So no one walked on this road anymore. Explanation. Self-created delusional entities. Possession. Self-created delusional entity is an ancient designation for the entity of schizophrenia and of possession of the human being. This illness state was designated as possession in the lack of understanding of the actual fact that it concerns a consciousness-based, thought and feeling-based, psychical disease. Fundamentally, actual possession does not concern a separate entity in the human being, but rather a pronounced consciousness, psyche, physical-based, strong state of agitation, which is often connected with delusions, self-created delusional entities, or convulsive states. Still today in many religions, especially in Catholicism, the possession is attributed to the influence of evil spirits or demons, as well as to the devil. The driving out exorcism of such spirits and demons and the devil was already carried out in old times. And as mentioned, this is also still practiced in the present time due to the pathological religious belief delusion of the human beings, which over and over again demands human lives every year worldwide. Human beings capable of consciousness-based suggestion are able, through their hypnotic power, to transfer a human self-created delusion to other human beings or to animals, as for example, to the very sensitive swine, which are particularly responsive to human suggestive hypnotic powers. In this manner, other human beings, as well as animals, can be ruined, perish. Animals are very sensitive beings and can suffer serious damages to health due to human burdens, particularly in relation to their psyche. With time, however, they likewise perish, as also does the human being. The self-created delusional entities, therefore, do not correspond to actual entities, but rather to a consciousness-based, psychical, and physical illness, which usually expresses itself as schizophrenia or as a psychophysical state of agitation, which is incorrectly interpreted as possession. And the forms of the illness state are very diverse. The self-created delusional entities represent nothing other than pathological imaginations of a schizophrenic and thus delusional nature. In severe cases, these schizophrenia-based or delusion-based entities appearing in human beings can get so very badly out of control of the good human nature that they can make themselves verbally audible in various and, as a rule, malicious voices. They form additional but solely delusional formation-based personalities, so to speak, in the human being's own personality. Depending on the degree of the schizophrenia or of the supposed possession, these other personalities can be so strong that they completely drown out the normal personality and overlay the consciousness, which is known as an acute split personality. Consequently, the real personality is then no longer able to break through. The mildest forms of these self-created delusional entities are probably the so-called voices that the human beings befallen by such hear inside themselves, that is, in their damaged consciousness, in a form of the schizophrenia or the supposed possession. At the same time, it can also happen in these milder cases that the human being befallen by such converses with his or her voices. Nevertheless, these self-created delusional entities are not autonomous forms of personalities, and they also do not have a will of their own, and thus also do not have their own language, as it effectively concerns only voices or delusionally appearing personalities, which are purely of a schizophrenic nature, caused by the damaged or sick consciousness and the psyche of the human being who, of course, is suffering from it. Regarding the notion that these self-created delusional entities were driven into the swine, this again is based on an act of falsification in the New Testament. The process here was that Jmmanuel hypnotically suggested to the possessed persons who suffered from pathological delusional imaginations to shout to the sensitive swine so loudly and angrily that these rushed into the water and drowned themselves. This process, however, was only possible with 3 swine, but not with other animals that were there at the same time. Through this process, the possessed persons calmed themselves down and freed themselves by the self-healing of themselves in the deep faith that they were now really healed. Here too operated the principle, faith can move mountains. For Jmmanuel, the 2 human beings were more valuable than a small herd of 3 swine. Healing the 2 possessed persons through reason and through suggestive hypnotic consciousness power and saving other human beings from their danger was, therefore, obvious and logical. 33. And behold, they cried out and shouted, "We have heard you. What do you want of us, you son of Gabriel, the celestial son?" 34. Have you come to torment us before it is even time that the evil spirits move our spirit consciousness into confusion again? 35. But Jmmanuel spoke deeply, suggestively to them. So he spoke also with his deep words hypnotically to the spirit's consciousness of the possessed persons possessed by self-created delusions. And they soon became of another sense, and they came to rest. And so the 2 possessed persons befallen by self-created delusions, asked him, quote, "Master, if you intend to drive the evil entities out of us, then let them go into the herd of swine grazing just over there." 36. And he spoke very long, urgently and deeply, suggestively, with them, and spoke suggestively and interveningly through hypnosis to their spirits' consciousness, or creative spiritual energy, life energy. And then he said, "So go there, then, and cry out very loudly to the swine." 37. Then the 2 persons befallen by self-created delusional entities went there and cried out loudly and angrily to the 3 swine. And behold, the small herd got frightened very much and rushed down to the waters and drowned therein. 38. But the possessed persons possessed by self-created delusions, changed their behavior, and they became calm and peaceful and were henceforth no longer a danger to those passing along on this road. 39. And the female swineherd fled and went into the town and told everything, including what had happened to the persons possessed by self-created delusions. 40. And behold, a crowd of people came out of the town and approached Jmmanuel. 41. And when they saw him, they asked him to leave their area, for they thought that he was in league with evil spirits and with the superior of evil, the devil. Thank you for listening. It's the end of chapter 8. I hope you get something from this. If you'd like to get this book or other books written by Billy Edward Albert Meier, just go to figu.org or theyfly.com, and you can pick up a book, one of these Talmud Jmmanuel books. Have a great day in Salome.